Dave, Sky won the Tour de France with a British rider after just 3 years. What's the goal for 2013? Giro Tour double, the classics? What's next?
I think that's it. I think we very much looked at the classics first and foremost. I think we haven't really done as well as we'd liked maybe in the one-day races so far. So we took a lot of our learning for the last couple of years and really put a specific project in place for the classics group this year. And then the Giro obviously is an important race for us, and Bradley's focusing on the Giro in the first instance, and then it's on to the Tour de France and of course the races in between. So it's a big year for us, and we're being very ambitious about it.
And can one team win both the Giro and the Tour?
Well, there's no reason why not. I think if you've got two riders capable of doing it, then it very much sort of falls back onto the backup team, and do you have the strength in depth and the numbers of riders, if you like, to double up and create two Grand Tour winning teams, and I think that's more than possible.
Will losing Cavendish affect the overall success of the team, perhaps the number of wins? Perhaps?
I think you're right. I think it probably will. I think Mark's a prolific winner, but I think really I think having Mark move on, which was a shame, but I think it's quite clear that we're focusing more on races rather than stages, and that's sort of what we've sat back and thought about through the winter, and that's what we'll focus on.
You lost some of the riders, but you've also signed some, especially some young riders. Have you kind of rejuvenated the team in some way?
Well, obviously, like all teams, there's a constant turnover of mature riders and performing riders who will move on, and then you have to try and identify the next up-and-coming riders. So it's that constant wave, if you like, of performance. So we're thinking 3 to 4 years ahead in terms of some of the signs that we're making now, and trying to develop those riders whilst you've got your performing group at the minute. So it's a bit of a juggling act, but it's certainly a different challenge trying to manage the development of riders rather than the current performing riders.
Is there any name we should look out for this year especially? I don't know, we've seen Geraint Thomas is on fire at the Tour Down Under. Anybody else?
Well, I think Pete Kenner, Geraint Thomas, Ian Stannard, they've all been bubbling away, and obviously they Pete and G focused on the Olympics last year. So they've got a real appetite to get him back on the road this year. But we've signed Salvatore Puccio, looks like a really, really good prospect for the future. And then, of course, we got Ian Boswell and Joe Dombrowski, which we're very pleased about. Two young Americans who've got real raw talent. And it's going to be a lot of fun working with them and developing them.